is a novelty. I'm currently winning. Right, this is going to go where the Chicago Marathon medal was potentially going to go, but for now, this is going to live. Here, as my first ever race victory. Good evening and happy Wednesday. So I've just got down to the cricket club, which is where we have the Wednesday night runs with the Harriers from. I haven't done this for a while actually, but I've been in London Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. My legs were really sore Monday, Tuesday, so I didn't run at all actually after Sunday. I think obviously wearing the carbons, having not run like hard for a little while, yeah, my legs really felt it. So I've had a couple of days off. Back today, my legs feel pretty much back to normal. But yeah, so I'm doing the club run tonight. It's about 7 miles. I'm going to take it nice and easy, probably just a relaxed, chatty run. Plan for this week is I think I'm going to try and do somewhere in the region of sort of 45 to 50 miles, there or thereabouts. So 7-ish tonight, probably 15, 16 on Sunday, and then I'll do some mixed stuff in between. And then we'll properly taper from Sunday because we'll be 2 weeks out. So yeah, what I've also realised is it's getting dark, and I think I'm going to struggle to film whilst it's dark because I haven't got a light on this camera. I do have a head torch, but yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So I might not get much footage tonight, but we shall see. Right, off for the run. So, as suspected, I didn't really get a chance to film anything last night because it was basically dark by the time that I got going. But it was nice to get out. I did 7 miles with the Harriers. Bit of mix, so I ran with some of the quicker guys and ran with some of the easier pace stuff, and yeah, it was nice. The only problem with that Wednesday night run is I didn't get home because I had to go to the shop afterwards. Didn't get home till sort of like 9:15 and then ate. So I didn't eat till like 10 o'clock last night, so it was a bit late for me. But yeah, it was still nice to go see people. Had some nice congratulations for my race victory on Sunday, which was good. But yeah, it was. I'm going to try and get out for maybe 10 miles tonight. So like I said, I think I'm going to try and do 45, 50 miles this week. So if I can do 10 today, I'm working from home. And then that leaves me with a long run at the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. I haven't decided which yet. And then I'll fit maybe some intervals or some hills at some point one day, and then a park run. So, but yeah, we'll get there. So I'm just on a little lunchtime walk with Ted. Come on. And I thought I'd just do a little bit of a reflection, because it's been a little while since I've sort of given my thoughts on where I'm at with Chicago. So I think a couple of weeks ago I was talking about the fact that I had a bit of a crisis of confidence. Training wasn't going well. The 21 mile I felt hard, and I was umming and ahhing about whether I was going to do it. Well, I am going to do it. You know, the run on Sunday, the hospice run went really well, and I felt, whilst it wasn't an all-out effort, you know, I managed to run a 1:25:30 on a really hilly course. Now some of you might say, well, that's not sub 3 hour pace, running a 1:25.5. But as I said, it was hilly. You're looking at, I think it was about 1,150 feet of elevation in the end, which is quite a lot, and particularly when it's all backloaded to the last 2 miles of both laps. So that certainly would have taken, you know, a couple of minutes additional to my time. So yeah, so I'm going to go for it. I'm going to aim for sub 3 at Chicago. Whether I'm there or not, I think the stars will need to align. I definitely don't feel like I'm as fit as I was probably before I ran Manchester and in the build up to Boston. But yeah, 17 days to go, and all being well, assuming no kind of last minute injuries, etc., then I will be on the plane and I'll be on the start line at Chicago. And then it is what it is, and we will just see how the day goes. But I'm looking forward to it now. It's been a bit of a funny build up, but yeah, I am starting to get excited for it. So fingers crossed for a good race. Good boy. Good evening and happy Thursday again. So I'm just out for my evening run. I was hoping to try and do 10 miles tonight, I'm actually let out about an hour later than I would have liked, because I had to finish some work bits off, which sometimes these things happen. However, that does mean that there is no chance of doing 10 miles tonight, because it is also my wedding anniversary. So Claire and I have been married 4 years today. She's in London today and I'm at home, so I've promised that I will cook us an anniversary dinner, so it means I'm probably actually only going to do 5k, because that's all I've got time for, because it's now 6:15 and I need to be back and sort of ready and showered, etc., probably by sort of 7. So I don't have a lot of time, but I just thought I'd get out for a little shakeout, better than nothing, get the legs ticking over. I'm probably not going to be able to make the mileage up either, because I've already got sort of reasonably big days planned when I can over the next few days, but never mind. Anyway, I'm out, so yeah, probably just a gentle 5k, just get the legs ticking over, and then back for my anniversary dinner with my wonderful wife. I thought it was worth clarifying something I said earlier on the walk as well, which was around obviously 1:25 half marathon not being sub 3 marathon pace. Obviously what I mean by that is, yes, I know 1:25 done twice is 2:50, but generally the consensus is that you kind of double your half marathon time and then add 15 to 20 minutes on it for your marathon time. So whilst I know that, yeah, as I said, theoretically if I carried on at that pace for the entire time, I'd break 3 hours comfortably. Like as I said, the general feeling from the, I guess I want to say experts, is that you obviously can't, and it was you will slow down, or you will have to start at a slightly slower pace. So obviously running at 1:25, given in those calculations, would put me at like a 3:05, 3:10, which may or may not be true in terms of where I'm at. But when I ran Manchester in 2:58 in last year, my half marathon time before that was 1:21:30, so that's 2:43, and then I ran 15 minutes slower than that, so I guess that kind of makes sense. So you know, take the hills out, would I have been running around 1:22, 1:23 probably, so that definitely puts me close, but it's going to be tight. So very short and sweet this evening. I'm already on the way back, so actually it's probably going to be, yeah, 3 miles maybe max, but as I said, at least I've got out. One of the things that I've been pondering over the last sort of week or so is how much I rely upon heart rate when I'm running, and whether or not that actually is healthy in terms of how much I rely or think about it. And when I did Boston earlier in the year, it was one of those things where actually I didn't really pay any attention to, because I knew I wasn't in great shape and I ran on feel. And I'm sort of just wondering whether or not to try and do the same thing with Chicago. I'm going to give it some thought. I guess the difference with Boston was that I had best part of 6 out of the last 8 weeks totally off running and hadn't really done anything exercise wise. A little bit of biking, but that was it. So I knew my heart rate and was going to be way higher than I wanted it to be, but I was sort of relying on the fact that my marathon build up to sort of the injury had been really strong, so I would have some residual fitness, and I did manage to do a little bit in the last 2 weeks before the race itself. But the reason I say that is just because I think sometimes it can actually negatively affect my performance in terms of I rely on it too much, and I wonder whether if I turned the kind of heart rate screen off, just worried about like how I felt, that maybe that would be a sort of a more logical way of approaching it and giving me less demons, less thoughts, worrying about why my heart rate was so high. I'd be interested to know what people think, because yeah, do people rely on heart rate? Do they not? I think it'll be a mix, but yeah, I'd be interested to get people's thoughts on that. Good afternoon and happy Friday. So I'm just at Tunbridge Station. I've been in London all day today for work, and I am going to go for a quick run around Tunbridge before it gets dark. I'm probably only going to do like 5 or 6 miles tonight, and again fairly easy, just to get some mileage in the legs, because I've got a big-ish weekend. So I'm going to do a longer run tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, so I'm going to run down to Parkrun, do Parkrun, and then do a little bit afterwards as well. I think probably try and do sort of between 13 and 15 miles, which will be my longest run again now before Chicago, because I'm actually marshalling on Sunday now. So our club do a run called a race called the Eridge 10 mile, which is a trail race on Sunday, and they're a bit shorter marshals, so I've agreed to do that, which means I'm flipping my long run days to then. I did think about entering, but I think with the fact that it's trail and I'm 2 weeks before a road marathon, could be quite boggy, rooty, wearing trail shoes, just an abundance of caution. I just thought it's probably not sensible entering a trail race 2 weeks before a marathon. So yeah, I'm going to volunteer, I'm going to marshal instead. I might run down there, I'll see. It depends on kind of what kit I need and how long I'm going to be there for, etc. But yeah, so yeah, I'm going to go and do, I don't know yet, 5-6 miles-ish tonight, before it gets dark. And we are 16 days from Chicago. So about 3 miles in, pace is probably a bit more like tempo pace actually than easy pace, sort of around about between sort of 7:10 and 7:30 per mile, but it's felt pretty comfortable, which is a good sign. So yeah, I'm pushing it a little bit more than I would like, but I'm also thinking about the light and trying to get back before it gets dark, so hence why I'm probably going a little bit quicker. So I did have a quick sneaky look at the Chicago weather today. Now I know, obviously I've said in a few of these vlogs that control the controllables, etc. And weather is not one of those things that I can control. However, I still thought I'd have a look. It's 28 degrees there, as in like 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment. Now, looking at the longer sort of term forecast, it does look like it's going to drop, but could be a warm one. Could be a warm one, so let's hope that, because it's the 7:30 AM start, that actually conditions will be good, but fingers crossed. Nothing like Berlin at weekend, because that looked brutal. So coming towards the end of the run now, about 5.5 miles in, probably 2/3 of a mile, maybe a mile to go. But yeah, it's starting to get a bit gloomy. I'd also forgotten that one of the annoyances of running around this sort of loop, or this by the river at dusk, is the midges. I've had my fair share of additional protein running around this bit. I'm not sure if you can see them, but yeah, not pleasant. Don't run near stagnant water or lakes, rivers, canals, etc. at dusk, because you are going to get a mouthful. Oh, so that is run done. I did just over 6.5 miles in 47.5 minutes. So average pace is 7 minutes 13 per mile. So yeah, a bit quicker than I'd said I was going to do. But I actually just felt good. Yeah, and so it's nice given the sort of last couple of weeks in terms of training, albeit with the exception of the hospice run. Everything's felt a little bit laboured for the most part. So it was nice to just get out there, stretch the legs, feel good. Ran a couple of like marathon pace miles, heart rate was good, felt comfortable, so yeah, nice, encouraging. I don't want to wax too lyrical about it, because I've said this before in runs, you know, in previous weeks, and then I've gone and felt dreadful afterwards. So hope, but like I bottled today, it felt good. I still got this, like, I'm still bunged up. I don't know if you can hear it, but this just seems to be this perpetual cold. I feel fine, like I don't feel ill, but I'm just bunged up. It's really annoying. I think there's a lot of stuff going around at the moment, to be honest, but hopefully, yeah, I don't think it's affecting me anymore, like as in cardiovascularly. So yes, I'm hoping that we are on the right trajectory now. I've got it all out my system, and I will be peaking just in time for Chicago. Good morning and happy Saturday. So I'm just running down to Tunbridge Parkrun. So I left my house about 10 to 8 this morning. So my plan is to try and do about 8-ish miles down there. So a bit of an extended loop, because it's only 4.5, sort of as the crow flies, if you like, or on the normal path. Then I do obviously a 5k park run, so 3.1 miles, and then a couple of miles at the end, so should get me to about 13 for the morning. Beautiful morning, so you can see the sun behind me, but it has definitely, there's a bit of a bite in the air. It's definitely a very sort of traditionally autumnal morning this morning. So I've got the long sleeve on. Obviously I'll warm up, but yeah, conditions are chilly, and I think this is probably what it'll be like first thing in Boston. Obviously I know Boston, Chicago, and I obviously talked about the weather yesterday being warm, but I think sort of the early morning temperatures will be chilling, so it's probably worth getting used to this. But looking at things, it does look like it's going to warm up a bit more in Chicago than it does here. So, yeah, so anyway, right, 8 miles down to Tunbridge, Parkrun, a couple of miles cool down, and that will be done for the day. So that's about 7 miles done, and I'm just in the park now where Parkrun is, so probably do another mile or so and then crack on. It's funny, isn't it? Last night after I was saying how good I was feeling and I didn't want to get swept up in it, and this morning it felt really hard again. I do wonder whether obviously I haven't fueled this morning, but also sort of I got up at 7:20 and was out the door by 10 to 8. Just wondered if my body hadn't sort of warmed itself up, if you like. But yeah, it's felt a little bit tough this morning, but hey ho, I'm here. Parkrun wise, I'm probably going to pace Ian actually, so I've not run with him for a little while. Well, I'll see what he wants to do. Morning, and then we'll go from there. But I'm certainly not doing an all-out effort this morning. So about 3 and a bit k in, I'm meant to be pacing 22, but I don't think Ian's anywhere near me behind as far as I can see, but I am broadly on pace. Feeling a little bit tougher than it should for a 22-minute 5k. There you go, I can keep going. I did do 8.5 down here. See Ian coming back this way. There he is. Go on, Ian. Yeah, broadly 22, maybe a little bit under. That'll do. Thanks. So there we go, that's Parkrun done. Did it in about 21:50ish, I reckon. So a little bit under the 22. And I'm now just on a bit of a cool down, trying not to get in people's way. So, but yeah, felt fairly controlled. Heart rate was a little bit high, but as I said, maybe I shouldn't rely on my heart rate data too much. So I'm just going to do a little sort of 2 mile cool down, and then that'll be sort of 13.5ish for the day. Lovely.
I don't have to look no further, 'cause I've reached my destination. I used to be lost, but now I'm found. As long as I know that you'll be around, I don't have to keep on searching. I'm right where I wanna be. I used to be so sad, now I'm glad I found something I never had, and I'm ready. Yeah, yeah. This time I'm going all in. Yes, I'm ready. Yeah, yeah. I'm ready for the good times to begin. Hey, I don't have to keep this burden, 'cause I found.
Good morning and happy Sunday. So I am currently at the Eridge 10-mile race at my Marshall point. So I'm at about mile 6. The race started about 20 minutes ago, so I'm expecting the first runner here in about probably in the next sort of 10-15 minutes. It is quite a hilly, traily, muddy, boggy course, so it's not a fast course. And as you can see, it is sort of all paths, although it is quite dry because the weather's been fairly pleasant for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, here I am, and thankfully I didn't have to walk all the way to mile 6 because it is a totally off-road event, so you can't drive. But there is a road just down here, which we managed to park on, so I haven't managed to do the whole 6 miles. So plan is to marshal here, support the runners, head back, and then I have got to do a little 10-mile run myself. But as I said yesterday, I did not fancy doing this, just through an abundance of caution. Lots of tree roots, hills, mud, just didn't want to do an ankle, so I'm just marshalling today and supporting the club. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the runners come past. I know quite a few people doing it, and it's beautiful conditions, although I am obviously in a wooded area, so no sun for me. But yeah, should be a nice day for all of those running, and good luck to those that do it. The first runner came through 3 or 4 minutes ago, and he is miles ahead. Bearing in mind this is only mile 6. Yeah, he's absolutely flying. This is a tough course, but he looks like he's going to be going around in sort of 65 minutes, which, yeah, on a flat road race that's decent. But he is going some. As I said, he's miles ahead.
I don't have to look no further, 'cause I've reached my destination. I used to be lost, but now I'm found. As long as I know that you'll be around, I don't have to keep on searching. I'm right where I wanna be. I used to be so sad, now I'm glad I found something I never had, and I'm ready. Yeah, yeah. This time I'm going all in. Yes, I'm ready. Yeah, yeah. I'm ready for the good times to begin. Hey, I don't have to keep this burden, 'cause I found my salvation. I used to be blind, now I see. As long as I know that you stay with me, I don't have to look for a purpose, 'cause I'm right where I.
Okay, so that is it. That is the Eridge 10-mile at my station done. So the tail runners have just gone past. It is 12 o'clock on the nose, so about an hour and a half-ish to get to this point, 6 miles. So yeah, so I'm now just going to clear down this area, take all the tape down, get any rubbish, and then I am going to head back to Race HQ, drop it all off, and then I'm going to go home and try and get out myself for 10 miles. So yeah, see you in a bit.
Yes, I know what I got is 1 in a million, like a dream come true, just to be with you. I'm ready for the good times. Yeah, yeah, this time I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm ready for the good times to begin. Yeah, I'm ready for this good time.
Good afternoon. So I'm back from marshalling at Eridge, and I'm out on my long run. So I actually got back a bit earlier than I thought, so the long run might be a bit longer than I planned. which is fine because I'd only planned on doing 10 miles for time because we're going out for a sort of a either a late Sunday lunch or an early Sunday dinner, whichever you want to look at it. So my timings have been kind of dictated around that, but I have got a bit more time, so I might try and do sort of push up to around 15 miles. I've got a loose route in mind, but not a definite, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, out on my long run. So it was really good actually this morning. I really enjoyed it. I've not run or marshalled that race before, but it is a run that's organised by sort of my running club, the Tunbridge Wells Harriers. It is trail, it is hilly, it's quite a brutal course from what I gather. Obviously I was only stood at one point in it, and we drove sort of around the perimeter to get there, so I didn't see, but yeah, I heard some horror stories about how that went, but it was good. The guy who won it though, fair play to him. I think his finish time was like 1 hour and 50 seconds. So he was running basically 6-minute miles on a seriously tricky technical course. And I think he won by about 8 or 9 minutes in the end. He was miles ahead, so well done to him. And there was a couple of good Harrier results as well. So yeah, all in all, a good morning. But it really gave me the bug to get out. When you watch other people running and enjoying themselves, or sort of enjoying themselves, yeah, it makes you want to get out. So here I am. I'm only about 2 miles in. Oh, I looked at my watch then. Also, just to know, I've turned my heart rate and my pace screens off. So I'm literally just looking at my watch face. It's force of habit that I keep looking at it, but there's nothing to show. Just because I want to see how it goes without any heart rate or pace data. So I'm I think about 6 miles in. I have been getting the mile splits on my watch, but as I said, it's just a watch face at the moment. There's no other metrics on there except when the splits come up. It's quite liberating actually, not having heart rate or pace on there. And it is just very much running on feel. Plan today is sort of to run steady, so between 7:30 and 8-minute miles, which broadly I think I'm doing. I've got a couple of fairly horrific hills coming up in the next sort of 2 or 3 miles, which won't particularly be particularly pleasant, but not a lot I can do about it, because I've got to get home, and whichever way I go home there's a big hill involved. So yeah, anyway, right, crack on. So I'm just over 9 miles in, and I'm now just starting the most painful hill on the route. It's called Quarry Hill, and it's basically from Tunbridge at the bottom of the hill up to an area called Southborough. So it's a couple of miles. Well, the main hill is the first probably third of a mile, and then it is a gradual incline, but this first bit is steep and annoying. So I've been doing around about 7:45-minute miles. Again, so my mile splits tell me, but I can assure you they're going to get a lot slower over the next couple of miles. So that's coming up to the end of my run now, so I'm pretty close to 15 miles, I think. Again, given that oh, there we go, it's beat 15 miles. So yeah, pretty steady for the most part on the flats and the downhills. I was running sort of between 7:30 and 7:45, and then on the slightly sort of more inclined sections between sort of 8 and 8:30, although one of the splits was about 8:50. That was the Quarry Hill split. But yeah, I feel alright. So about 2 hours on feet, and that is the last long run of my Chicago marathon build. It hasn't been the best build, but it certainly hasn't been the worst build I've had. So now it's just taper down, lower the volume, probably do about, I don't know, 25 to 30 miles this week, and then get myself sorted for the actual race day. Oh, I can't believe it feels like it's come around so quickly from when I started these vlogs. But yeah, exciting times.